Congratulate yourself on making an excellent investment decision because you are now tuned into the show where you learn to define what success means for you, what that's going to look like in your life, and then how to actually make that vision come to fruition. We're going to help you create authentic power and influence in your life so you can be someone other people want to listen to, follow, advocate for. Not to mention, we're going to be giving you a new angle, a new perspective on different personal growth topics to put you in a position to win in life. If all that sounds good to you, stick around, you're in the right spot. Welcome to the Spreading Success Podcast. My name is Remy Ellis. I'm your host today, and I'm your host every day. Today's topic, you will find both relatable and insightful, I hope, the comparison complex and how comparisons are holding you back. So we'll get into why we compare ourselves to other people, the effect that has on our lives and our decisions. I'll share a few different ideas to help you focus your attention on the one comparison that actually matters. So let's go back a few 100,000 years. Through evolution, humans, our conscious brains, began to inherently compare ourselves to other people. So in the early days, you would likely size up anything or anyone that you came into contact with, primarily for survival and social reasons. So we have been wired to measure people on sight in order to determine, could I physically overtake them, fight them, form an alliance with them, mate with them, whatever the situation. Back then, we were driven by the need to survive and the need to reproduce. That's it. And so early day comparisons and snapshot judgments helped us. They kept us alive. That's why you're here today. You can thank your ancestors for their skill of comparison and discernment. Fast forward to the present day, you and I no longer live in caves. We don't fight wild animals. We don't forage for food that much. But our primitive hardwiring still remains. Only now, we compare ourselves to others in a whole new variety of ways. Physical appearance still persists, but add in there social status, fashion, wealth, occupation, number of Instagram followers, family, ability, skills, literally, you name it, we will compare it. Human beings are prone to comparisons. So even if you wanted to never compare yourself to another person ever again, you still will. You might wonder if something's wrong with you or your process or the world because something's not adding up. This difference is natural. You should expect this and don't think something's wrong with you when it does happen, when you do make those comparisons. Human beings, ideally, we would not pay attention to what everybody else is doing because we don't have the full details of another person's situation. You only know what you can see. You can't read anybody else's mind. You don't know everything that's happened to them in the past or what's going to happen to them in the future. We make the mistake of comparing our situation, in which we know all the details of, to another person's situation of which we know maybe 2%, if that. But this is what we do. You look around and see other people who might seem more happy than you, who are getting more money, more gratification, more return on investment, and wonder, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have these things? Why can't I do what they're doing? This is natural. That doesn't mean it makes you feel any better about yourself, though. So today, let's talk about the effect that has on our spirit, our decisions, and ultimately, our lives. My hope is with this episode that will decrease the amount of time that you spend looking to the right, looking to the left at your peers, your competition, what other people are doing in general. Because as they say, if you spend too much time looking to the right and looking to the left at other people, you're going to hurt your neck, and we don't want that. Let's get into our points. Point number one, once again, today's topic, the comparison complex, how comparisons are holding you back. Point number one, you don't know anything. As I mentioned in the intro, we make the mistake of judging other people based on this microscopic sample size that we're exposed to. We take this tiny moment or picture and we expand it the length of the universe. We weigh, measure, judge the other person based on our lives, what we value, what we want in our current situation. That's crazy. First of all, they have different values, goals, ambitions, and a different life than you. Why would you compare yourself to someone that's so different and think you could find common ground for stacking up and measuring? We do this because we can't help it. You don't know their problems, their insecurities, their secrets, and you don't really want to. You have enough of those for yourself. All the problems that you have in your life, all the things you want to accomplish, and you're sitting over there worrying about what another person is doing, feeling. You don't know anything, I don't know anything. Comparisons try to fit everyone into the same category and space, but the truth is, we're all just too different for that to make any sense. There's no standard. Well, you are the standard in your own life. You will never know the truth behind someone else's life. And honestly, you don't want to. If you must compare, compare yourself to the old you, the you that was broken down, failing, struggling, unsure. That's the comparison you can make. Point number 2, you will never win. The problem with the comparisons we make present day is that the areas we can compare are just limitless. There's no ceiling on the ways in which we can compare ourselves to others. The more comparisons that are available, the more comparisons we make, and the more comparisons we make, the worse we end up feeling about ourselves. This is a losing battle. Comparisons move you no further ahead and the other person no further behind. It's just a mental time trap for you. I say this because there will always be someone out there that's better than you at something. And actually, there'll be a lot of someones. What could you possibly stand to gain from making these comparisons? Best case scenario, you feel a little bit of pride, a little bit of an ego boost in yourself, in your own little tiny bubble. But the worst case scenario, your bubble gets popped and you're sitting there feeling miserable about yourself. We are all presented with unique opportunities and have access to different resources throughout our lives. And these opportunities and resources, that affects our decisions and ultimately determines our outcomes. And so when you put it like that, it's really, really silly to just compare your life to someone else's. There's so little common ground to make the comparison, but we do it anyway. So what do we do? Is all hope lost? What are you telling me to do here? No, all hope is not lost. Instead of setting yourself up to lose by putting yourself against the world and comparing yourself to every person out there you come into contact with, be you. No one can beat you at being you. There's no one alive that can be you better than you can. Didn't Dr. Seuss say something like that? Play your own game, the game you are set up to win, being yourself. Compare yourself to the old you, and you'll find you're doing just fine. And if you aren't, good news. You control your life. You control your emotions. Point number 3, alter your point of view. Resentment, envy, jealousy arise from comparisons. These are negative emotions, negative feelings, negative energies, and someone who's radiating this energy is likely to feel pretty inferior to the world and feel bad about themselves. When you see someone out in the world, maybe somebody you know, that appears to have more than you, whatever that more is, when you allow yourself to feel jealousy and envy, you move further and further away from that more, that outcome that they have that you want. Not only do these emotions take a lot of energy, negative energy, they also aren't constructive at all for you. These are destructive emotions, ones that tear you down and other people. Remember, we are making up stories about other people in our own heads. It might seem like they have the world, but if you were to step into their shoes, see their problems, you would find it's quite the opposite. So the next time you see someone or think of someone and begin to make the comparison, I have this, they have that, who's doing better? When that jealousy and resentment begins to creep in, adjust your perspective. Instead of feeling jealous, feel inspired. Instead of envy, feel appreciation and admiration. And instead of resentment, feel hope. Use their example of what they appear to have to elevate yourself. Get inspired by what they're doing. Feel appreciation for the journey you're on, how far you've come, and how far yet you still have to go. Feel hopeful that other people are out here succeeding in the world, and you can too. That is the energy of someone that's growing, succeeding. That is the energy of someone that is spreading success. Let's recap today's topic. Once again, the comparison complex. How comparisons are holding you back. Point number 1, you don't know anything. Like I said, we make the mistake of judging other people based on this microscopic sample size that we're exposed to. We create all these different metrics and measurements for judging based on our lives, what we value, what we want in our lives. And that's crazy. Other people are different than you. Stop doing that. Point number 2, you'll never win. There's no limit to the number of comparisons you can make. And as you make these, you're just going to end up feeling worse about yourself in your own life. There's no winning this battle. This is a losing game. So play your own game. Be yourself. That's a game that no one can beat you at. Comparing yourself to the old you is a comparison that you should be able to get behind. I'm behind that. And point number 3, alter your point of view. Resentment, envy, jealousy arise from comparisons. Turn these feelings into inspiration, appreciation, admiration, and hope. Take what you're seeing around the world and use it in your own life for positive, for good. That is the energy of someone that's growing, succeeding. That is the energy of someone that is spreading success. Thank you for tuning in. I've been Remy Ellis. I'll see you so soon. Until then, stay well.